My name is Lorie. I am a spiritual teacher and author, and I teach the evolution in human consciousness.
What is the soul?
The soul, in my opinion, is an aspect of awareness or consciousness, and it's experiencing itself in the physical body or in the human body.
What is the soul's relation to Source/God?
The soul's relationship with Source, well, it's an aspect of Source, it's an aspect of God, or what I call awareness. And so it's connected to, the soul is connected to at all times Source, God, awareness. It is God, it is awareness, it is Source. So there's always this deep, almost like an energetic cord that connects the aspect of soul in the body to that consciousness that we call God or source that's outside of us.
Are human incarnations voluntarily chosen?
Human incarnations are absolutely chosen. Every single incarnation, in my opinion, is chosen. And each time that the soul exits the body, it has a choice whether it wants to incarnate back into a human body and the human journey or not. It's always voluntary. It's not the human that chooses it. It's not our personality or our ego that chooses this. It's the soul that chooses the human experience and chooses what it's going to experience in this human incarnation, whether we understand that or remember that while we're in the human journey, while we're in this personality and ego and persona. But every single incarnation is chosen by the soul.
What's the purpose of life on the physical plane?
I love this question. I think there's a lot of reasons why we're here. One of the reasons why we're here on the earth and in this human experience and this human journey is to remember, is to master it and to remember who we are as awareness or God in the physical form. The other reason that we're here is to move through what I call the evolution in human consciousness. So we all chose to be here at this time in order to experience this incredible physical evolution in consciousness. Another reason for being here on the planet as soul embodied is to be able to experience physicality. We forget the uniqueness of this physical experience because we're actually consciousness, we're God. Another reason is to remember the power of kindness, the power of love, and that we're all unified in that one expression, oneness and love. But the list goes on and on and on as to why we're here. But I think those are probably the four most important reasons why we're on the planet right now.
Do souls have more than one incarnation, either on Earth or elsewhere?
I believe that souls have more than one incarnation. You can incarnate multiple times on the planet if you want to. You can incarnate on other physical planets. Um, I think as a soul, once we individuate from source, there are all kinds of experiences that we can have. So absolutely, we can incarnate multiple times on this amazing planet. And why would we not? The A lot of us don't understand why we would incarnate here, but to me, this physical experience is everything. Once we're out of it, we're like, holy cow, like you have physicality, you have food, you have all these things. Like, yes, I want to go back in. And then once you get in, you're like, why did I choose to come back in? So yes, 100% souls can come back in and incarnate back in the human body or elsewhere.
Does the soul plan its incarnations ahead of time?
Yes, the soul absolutely plans its incarnation. That's one of the greatest gifts of the human experience is the Akashic record. And I see it as a big sort of like library. And the soul walks in and looks at all these shelves. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to choose this parent this time, this kind of family this time. And oh, I'm going to go down and I'm going to be born in that country this time. And I'm going to have what I call these core consciousnesses, which is lessons in this lifetime. And many of us are like, why would we choose these things? That's horrific. But when you're the soul, it's juicy. It's like you're looking at a room full of candy and you're like, okay, I'm going to put this in my pocket and this in my pocket and this in my pocket. So, absolutely, every soul, in my opinion, plans out what their the core, the outline of their life. There's always free will, so who knows what else is going to unravel. But yeah, we plan it. We stick it in our pocket and go down in.
Do we have soul groups that we incarnate with across different lifetimes?
Yeah, I believe that we do have soul groups. Again, if you envision being in the Akashic Record library, I see it as other souls. Let's say it's your mom or your dad in this lifetime, who are in this Akashic Record room, this library with you as a soul. So this like little light standing next to you. And let's say in a previous lifetime, the soul that is now your mom was your sister. And in this lifetime, you're like, hey, this is why there's no time, because your mom may already be down in the on the planet already living her life, and yet you're still capable of choosing her as your mom in the Akashic record. So here's your mom as the soul, not to get too complex, but it could have been 50 years ago in linear time, but you're choosing in this lifetime, okay, I want my mom to be the mom. She says, absolutely, I'm going to be your mom. And in a lifetime before that, you guys were, married or something. So there's always, I think that there's this little group that comes along with you. That's why when you meet someone, you're like, oh, there's this deep soul connection. They're in your soul family, they're in your soul group.
Are there contracts or agreements between souls?
Yeah, we have a lot of contracts and agreements with the people in our lives that are souls. These contracts and agreements with individuals in our life can be family members. Most of the time, it's family members, good friends, lovers, relationships, husband, wife. It can also just be a random person that you meet for a day or two. And these contracts and agreements are made again in the library prior to incarnating. And the purpose for these contracts and agreements is as the soul, this is very difficult for us to understand when we're in the human experience with our ego and personality, because there is duality. There's good and bad, right and wrong, feels good, doesn't feel good. So it's very difficult for us to understand that we would choose, oh, I want to experience abandonment. But we do. And I want to experience some sort of abuse. It's many times it is a choice, and we need somebody else to participate with us. And so there are other souls that contract with us, and it's an energetic contract. And so there's an energetic cord between you and the individual that you chose to have the contract with, and the contract is designed to be broken at some point, which is the evolution in human consciousness. But the contract is what gifts you with the growth, the lesson, the awareness. And through our evolution that we're in right now, we begin to be aware of these contracts with people, and we start to cut them, which is we start to learn what it is that we're here to learn uh, with that other individual. And again, it can be somebody you meet for a day, or it could be somebody that's been in your life your entire life, like your mom or your dad. It depends on what you chose as a soul. And when you cut the cord, which is I've learned this lesson, doesn't mean the other person has. So they may continue to perpetuate the same programs or the same ways of being with you, and you've cut that cord, that contract or agreement. It also doesn't mean that they're not in your life anymore. It just means that the contract, the agreement has been met by you. And so it's a completely different relationship, whether they're in your life or not. It's fascinating how contracts and agreements work, and the necessity for them in order for you to fulfill what it is that you wanted to experience here on the planet. One of the confusing parts or difficult parts about recognizing that we choose many of the things that are extremely uncomfortable in our life is that we are identified with the experience. And so when you're a soul, this is again very difficult to kind of wrap our heads around, but when you're a soul, there's no identification with thought or emotion or behavior. It's strictly an experience, as challenging as that can be. And when you come down into the human body as the soul, of course, you forget and you become the human, which is the identifier. You're identified as Lorie or as George or as whoever. And when you're identified, you really believe that you are what happened to you. You believe that you're the thoughts that people have said to you. You believe that you're the emotional states that you feel in your body. You believe that you're the behaviors. And when you do that, it becomes very difficult to grasp that you would have chosen any of what you're experiencing, because there's duality. There is, this is a good thing and this is a bad thing. If this happened to me, this means that I am ... I'm not a good person. I did something wrong. I'm not worthy. These are all thoughts that we're identifying with that we aren't. And soul knows that. Your soul knows that. God knows that, which is you, which is inside your body. And so when we start to remember that in tiny little moments throughout our life, it becomes easier to grasp this idea that we chose these contracts and these experiences, and we let go. We forgive ourselves, we forgive others, and we start to live in this more sort of expanded state of freedom, where you're no longer really identified with what you're experiencing, because that's the key, is to not identify with what you're experiencing any longer as you. But that's that's very challenging and difficult for us to do. But that's how you master the human journey, master the game.
Many people experience challenges while living in a body. Does the soul seek such challenges, and if so, why?
Again, I think this is one of the hardest things to really wrap our little minds around, our egos and personalities. But as a soul, when you're looking down at the human experience, everything is this profound experience. It's not wrapped in duality. Duality being this is good and this is bad. We wouldn't even, the soul doesn't even look at it as a challenge. It doesn't. The soul looks at everything as experience, from my opinion. It's all just an experience. It becomes a challenge when we're in the human experience, experiencing it as the human. And the reason that we have all of these challenges, and God bless you if you took on a lot of them, because you gave yourself a higher level of the video game, meaning you have more, you have to navigate more illusion of who you think you are in order to remember who you are. So every challenge is the opportunity to remember who you actually are. And you would say, well, why would I even do that? Why would I bring challenges into my life? We all drop into the body as the soul, and we all are going to have challenges. It's just a matter of how many challenges are you going to have? How many opportunities are you going to give yourself to sort of wake up? And I guarantee you, the more challenges that you have, the greater the opportunity to wake up out of the illusion of who you think you are. I mean, just look at the planet right now. The more challenges the planet is going through, the more opportunity the planet has as a human collective to wake up. So challenges are not bad. They're the greatest gift. They're the gift and the opportunity to wake up out of who you think you are. It's just switching the lens of how you're seeing the challenge. That's the key. That's freedom. That's awakening.
Do spirit guides or angels assist us?
Spirit guides and angels, they're with us from the moment we drop in as a soul into the human body. And they're light or energy. And so the way they communicate with us is there's a variety of ways. One is, and the way I experience them a lot, is the voice in your head. And so paying attention to what you're hearing. They communicate through other people. They communicate through signs, through songs, through numbers. They'll use anything they can to communicate with you in this physical world. So it's just a matter of being receptive and being open to the fact that there are angels around you, there are spirit guides around you 24/7, there always have been, and being open and receptive to receive. Also asking for the help or asking for the messages, asking for them to assist you, and then being open and receptive to hearing, listening, feeling, and trusting. If you don't trust, forget about it. They could show you all kinds of signs. You're like, nope, that's not a sign. Nope, that's not a sign. You have to choose to believe it.
What is death?
I have no idea. I don't remember dying. Um, the cheeky answer is like, well, it's when your heart stops and the body's dead. It can also be seen as the next phase, sort of like the passing into death is sort of like the tunnel into another experience as consciousness or soul off it goes. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what death is. The scientific death is the body is no longer alive, right? The heart has stopped. Um, but it's a fascinating question. I think it's probably a question that would stop most people in their tracks because it's also the biggest fear that we have: death, dying.
What is the veil of forgetting and why do we need it?
It's interesting because we know why we're here. We know why we're down here in this physical reality. And we know that we're going to forget. We know that we're going to forget this. And we forget as consciousness, as light. The reason that we're coming in, knowing that we're going to forget everything, is because the gift of this physical world, the gift of being able to go outside and see a tree, the gift of being able to eat a pizza, the gift of physicality is incredible. It's incredible. So what? We have to forget who we are? Okay, maybe we'll remember who we are, maybe we won't. It doesn't matter. It's this amazing, miraculous ride of physicality as God. You're God. You're God in physical form. And you have to be willing to forget that. That's how powerful the physical experience is, meaning that's how important it is. That's how beautiful it is that you chose as God to forget who you are, to be able to go down and experience a physical world. Nothing's an accident, nothing's a mistake. And so when we're in this physical world, kind of bitching and moaning about like, oh, these people are doing this and this is happening, this is happening. That's all just us forgetting that we're freaking God that chose to be down here in order to hug people and in order to feel love and in order to have ice cream and these simple things in life, to see a butterfly. Like, that is why we're here. And so it's like, yeah, you're going to forget. So, okay, next. You're going to want to come back down. You're going to want to come back down. Guarantee it. Even though, a lot of people will leave and say, I don't want to come back down. No way. Promise you, you'll want to come back down. This is the most miraculous experience that consciousness or God can have. The butterflies in heaven or the trees in heaven, they're not physical. It's not physical. It's an experience, but it's not the same type of experience as physicality, which means there is a an expression or experience of it that is, it's dense, it's juicy. There's a juiciness to it, and I mean, I don't remember being in heaven. I'm sure I've been in heaven before, unless this is my very first lifetime. Um, but it's not the same experience as the dense, heavy. You could hold that butterfly in a way that you can't hold it, perhaps, in heaven. Um, Even though heaven has all of these amazing experiences that you could argue amplify the senses, the physical dense experience is like nothing we've ever experienced. Um, it's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
Discuss the role of free will in a given incarnation.
Free will is one of the greatest gifts that we have, because free will is what gives us choice. It's what gives us sovereignty and empowerment. It's although we have like a laid out plan that we choose as the soul, the beauty of the human experience is free will. So in any given moment, you get to choose, and your choice can pivot your life just like that. And so every moment of every day, you have choice. There is this preciousness of choice, and it brings a huge amount of empowerment when you realize that there is free will. And free will can also pull you off course, right? Free will is uh, quite a miraculous thing, because although it brings empowerment, it can also create this sort of victimhood state. Um, but if you're always aware that there's choice, that you're choosing everything, you'll start to remember more and more this sense of sovereignty that you have in your life, and that every moment is this opportunity to choose, choose. That's free will. Free will is choice. So there's this interesting piece that happens where we realize we have free will, and yet there is also this divine plan that we've laid out through the Akashic Record, where we have chosen sort of an outline of how we want to experience this human journey. Maybe it's the family, a marriage, children, the type of job you're going to do, right? Your purpose work, whatever that is. But there's always free will, which means that no matter what you as your soul has laid out in front of you, you're also in the game of free will and choice. And so for me, there's this almost like a blueprint that's within your physical body that your soul has chosen, which is this divine plan, divine will. And then there's the free will, the personality, the ego. And what impacts free will is your traumas, your relationships, the thoughts and emotions you believe yourself to be, right? And so you're going about life choosing consciously and most of the time unconsciously, but there is always divine will. The divine plan is always going to try to realign you back on course. But free will you have, so you can choose. Nope, I'm going to go back to this relationship. Nope, I'm going to go find this other relationship that's just as unhealthy as the last one. And there is this divine part of you that will keep kind of readjusting you back into alignment, which is where it feels, yes, this feels right. But we always have choice, and we always get to choose however we're going to do life. If you always know that everything is happening for you, by you, and this is very difficult for us to accept at times. But if there is this divine plan for us, for you, for me, then every single thing that is happening in your life is for your highest good. It's to set you free. It's to remind you of who you are. It's to bring more joy, more love, more peace, even when these experiences that you're having create a huge amount of grief or pain or sorrow or loss. It's about how you are choosing to see it. And if you continue to or begin to start seeing this as every moment the opportunity, the gift of bringing you to who you are, to what you deserve, to what this life is all about. Nothing's an accident, nothing's a mistake, nothing is happening to you. It's literally all breaking you free. It's literally about the lens that you're using.
Is life on the physical plane an illusion?
There's two realities. There's the physical reality, which is the relative reality. So physicality is real, okay? This physical world is real, but it's one of two realities. The other reality is the absolute reality, which is that we are actually just God or awareness or light, right? And so you can walk around this world and believe that we are this physical world, which is true. And or you can also see that it's all an illusion. It's all just energy. It's all just God reflecting God. And that is the absolute reality. And you can't argue with that. However, the physical world is the physical world. You can't argue with that either. So it's the paradox. Two realities. Physical reality is real. It's also an illusion. So what's so fascinating about and also what's so complex and juicy about dissecting the physical world as an illusion, and the ultimate reality as everything is you look at a television and you're like, well, that's not God, right? And what I would argue is that that TV right there is energy, and it goes away only when I go away. I as soul, right? So this physical reality it's physical and real until I go somewhere else, right? Then where did this physical reality go, right? So it's here and it's not here. It's physical and it's not physical. It's all the movie. We're the characters in the movie, and the more that we remember that this is just a movie, that this is relative and all energetic, and you hold that knowingness as oneness, as energy, as God. You hold that every single day. I promise you, if you do that, you will be in awe. You will be in awe of every single thing you see. You'll be in awe of a refrigerator. You'll be in awe of a horse. You'll be in awe of everything because you realize, holy cow, that is an energy that looks like a physicality that we label a horse, and you're seeing it through the lens of God, which is the ultimate absolute reality. Everything becomes this game you're in. It's like, holy cow, what else is here? A bicycle? What's a bicycle, right? We have these labels that we use that create this concrete reality. And it's just part of the illusion. It's part of the game. And the lens of God uses, that's how God sees everything. That's how awareness sees everything. Through this like childlike, what? You know, it's gone in an instant. You're gone in an instant. Your awareness, your essence of God that you are, is always present, with or without the television, with or without the bicycle, with or without the horse. It's always present. It's always here. So this is just a blip in a moment, whether it's 50 years, 80 years, or 20 years. It's this miraculous blip that we call a physical reality and a human experience. And your awareness of who you are as God, as essence, as spirit, as source, whatever you call it, goes on and on and on and on. How could we not squeeze the juice out of this experience that we're in, the human experience? It's gone in a blink of an eye.
Do we create our own realities?
Do we create our own reality or realities? Yeah, we're always creating our reality based on our thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality. Every thought you have is what's creating the reality that you're experiencing. Nobody else is creating it for you. Two people can be walking along a path, or two people can have the same sort of experience with somebody. One person's going to experience it differently than the other person based on the thoughts that they have about the experience.
Describe the life between lives.
I think there's a lot of different things that may be happening in between lifetimes. Because I don't remember, I'm not exactly sure. And because I haven't had a near-death experience, I don't have the experience of that. But what I do know is that there are an infinite amount of experiences that one can have in between lifetimes. One can go straight back to source or straight back to God. Maybe somebody goes back to a planetary system. Maybe somebody sits in a life review for a while. Maybe there's visitation with loved ones. I don't know. There's so many ways that we can experience the in between lifetimes. But I don't know. I don't know until I'm there, until I remember. Unfortunately, I don't remember while I'm here.
Are we judged or punished for our mistakes in the afterlife?
No, I do not believe that we are punished for our First of all, there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes in your human life, and so, and there's no judgment. There's no judgment in about your human experience, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that we are hopefully recognizing in our life right now. There truly isn't. The one that is judging is the one that forgot. The one that judges is the one that forgets who you are. If you know that you're not what you're experiencing, if you know that you're not the traumas, if you know that you're not the thoughts and the feelings, the emotions, then what's there to judge? There's just compassion. There's empathy. There's a pat on your back. You're doing a freaking really good job. Keep going. Of course you're feeling this way. And so when you leave and go into heaven, are you judged? Absolutely not. You're not judged. Are there mistakes that you make? No. It's perfection in everything that you're experiencing. And that's the lens that we're learning to hold, is having compassion for ourselves, for what we're in, for what we're experiencing. And then we can have compassion for others and what they're experiencing, what they're in.
Is there such a thing as hell?
God, I think hell is the resistance to what is, and suffering. So I don't believe personally that when we die or pass that we go to a hell, but what could be perceived as a hell is that which we don't want to be in, perhaps. Or that which we are resisting. So perhaps the soul leaves and finds itself in some sort of experience after it's gone where it is, not wanting to be in that. I mean, it's very much like the human experience. What is hell? Hell is resistance to what is. Hell is not wanting to be in what you're in. Hell is suffering. And I don't believe that the soul experiences that when it passes. I think it's just the perception or the lens that we use to see whatever it is that the soul's in or whatever it is that the human's in.
Describe the life review.
I think in a life review, you get to see the choices that you have made consciously and unconsciously. You get to see the impact that you have had on humans. You get to see the ripple effect of your words, of the choices that you make. And I think that the life review, in my opinion, if you can have a life review right now in your life, that's extremely profound, meaning, can you recognize before you die, before you leave, can you review your life in your life? Can you see the ripple effect now? Can you see how your words impact people now? Can you recognize how powerful kindness is and was now? If I were to pass right now, would I be happy with how I lived my life? Did I make the impact I wanted to make? Don't wait for the life review. Bring the awareness of a life review into the now, into how you're choosing to be now, how you're choosing to interact now. That's how I would see a life review. Everything is now.
What is karma?
So to me, karma is cause and effect in the now moment. I don't believe that we build up karma and that we have to, if you've done something years ago, there's going to be this karmic debt or you have to clear your karma now. I see karma as the right here, right now. So how you are being right here, right now is going to be reflected back to you right here, right now. In the next moment, how you are being right here, right now is going to be reflected back to you right here, right now. That's how I see karma. The here and now, cause and effect. How you are is going to be reflected back to you. If you're in a present moment state, which we all are, then what happens in the past does not come with us unless we carry it with us, and that's not karma. Karma is in the here and now. That's how I see karma.
How do you define forgiveness?
Forgiveness. I think forgiveness is the acceptance of what is, the acceptance of what happened or what occurred, the acceptance of how you reacted, how you responded. It's just the acceptance. It's the acceptance of what is. And when we can be in that, forgiveness arises. How we get there, that's a whole different story. There's a lot of different ways of how we find ourselves in forgiveness. But it's an acceptance, a deep, deep, deep acceptance. I also don't believe that we ever have to necessarily forgive certain people or ourselves in our lifetime, and that's okay too. But if we can accept, if we can truly accept what is, then you're free. And there's forgiveness.
Discuss the idea of oneness/unity and how we can apply it in our everyday lives.
Oneness or unity is what we are waking up into. It's God, in my opinion, or source. It is this remembrance that you and I and every living being on the planet holds the same divine spark of consciousness or God essence or divinity in it. A horse, a butterfly, a fly, each human body. And when we remember that there is this spark within us that is the same spark that everyone else has, that's oneness. That's unity. That is the magic of the human experience, is remembering that no matter what someone does, what someone says, how someone behaves, that within each of us is this spark, is this divine essence. And it's the same for every single human. I mean, the cosmic joke is that we are all God playing these human personas, right? And, we drive our cars and we scream at someone, we flip them off, we cuss, and yet we have this understanding or awareness, oh, wait, hold on a second, we're all God, we're all one, we're all unified. And yet, somebody in front of me in line can take too long to get their purse out and I'm losing my shit, right? So it's this beautiful cosmic joke of welcome to the human experience, good luck, right? And holy cow, we're all God. every moment. And so how can you apply this to your life? Reminding yourself over and over 100,000 times in one day, wait a second, if I'm God, you're God. And then you turn the TV on, or you turn YouTube on, or you open up social media and you lose it and you freak out, and then you come back, wait a second, if I'm God, you're God. And it's just this constant daily reminder over and over. If I'm God, you're God. If I'm God, you're God. And then you go out and play in the world and you lose your shit. I'm God, you're God.
What does the belief in separation cost us?
The belief in separation, it's the illusion, and it cost us freedom. It cost us the ability to be free in our mind, free in our life, meaning that we can experience anything and we're okay. When there is separation, there is this idea that we are identified with what we're experiencing, which causes the separation. And when you realize you're not separate from what you're experiencing, so a thought comes in, you're not the thought just is moving through. No separation. When you realize that you're having an emotion, you're just allowing the emotion to move through you. There's no separation or identification. I am angry. I am sad. There's a separateness. When there is a separateness with another human, right? They're bad, I'm good. No, they're not. They're just doing them and I'm just doing me. Not easy, right? Separation is, unfortunately, what we volunteered to experience, but it is the illusion, and it cost us freedom. It cost us, it's what creates fear in our lives. We're afraid to be in all of this. Just be in this. Be with the thoughts, be with the emotions, be with the people you don't understand. Be in it. Be in it. Allow it. Experience it. Trust it. It's not you. There's no separation in this lifetime. We're all in one huge unified field of experience. And the illusion is the separation, which is the identification with what you're experiencing. And then there's this idea that we're not safe to be in it, not safe to experience it. These people are right, these people are wrong. There goes the divide. And then there's a suffering and a fight against and an efforting in life.
Where is heaven? Where is God?
Where is heaven? Where is God? I don't know. Right here, right now. I think heaven is right here, right now. I think God is right here, right now. And I think the more that I and you and the rest of humanity can begin to remember that, then there's nowhere to go. There's no destination. There's no God outside of ourselves. There's no heaven outside of ourselves or outside of what we're in right now. Heaven on earth is right here, right now, based on the lens that you're using. Hell is right here, right now, based on the lens that you're using. God can be outside somewhere that we're going to find when we pass, or God can be right here, right now. It's all based on the choice and the lens that you're using. So maybe, there's some beautiful heaven that we find ourselves in somewhere down the road when we pass. But can I, as the Lorie that identifies as being human, can I find heaven right now? Can I find the God essence that I am now? No matter what I'm in, no matter what I'm experiencing, no matter what the world looks like. That's what's most important. That's why we're here. That's the awakening. That's the evolution in human consciousness, is that there is nowhere to go. There's no destination. There's no, I can't wait until I meet God or I'm in heaven. No, it's now. It's always now, right here, right now.
Many believe we're shifting to a higher consciousness on this planet. Do you agree? And if so, can you describe this shift?
Yeah, we're in an evolution in human consciousness, which means that the frequency is shifting on the planet. And what that means is that our states of being are shifting. So the ways that we are being on the planet as the human is changing. So we're moving out of suffering and victimhood and into more of an empowerment and a sovereignty. We're moving out of fear and we're moving into more love. We're moving out of an efforting and a control and more into a flow state, right? These are all parts of the evolution in consciousness. The ways in which we are being on the planet, our states, are shifting and changing. It happens naturally. It's happening naturally. It's it's an absolute, and the way that we see it occurring in our life is things falling apart, perhaps things changing over and over and over again. People being pulled from you. Jobs being pulled from you. There's all different ways in which we can experience this evolution, but it's happening, and it's seen through the ways in which we are being on the planet.
What's the secret to remembering who we really are?
How can we remember who we really are? Hmm. Finding your breath, sitting in stillness, meditation, slowing down, um, being more kind, being in nature. Those are ways in which we can begin to access who we are, which is the God inside the physical form. Slowing down is a huge piece to remembering who we are, and quieting, getting quieter. The busier we are, the more difficult it can be to remember who we are.
What does our soul want us to know?
What does our soul want us to know? That we've never, ever been our thoughts, that we've never been our emotions, that we've never been our behaviors, and that the greatest gift for being on the planet is the impact that we have with another human, the kindness that impact can make, smiling, hugging, compassion, empathy, the impact that you can make on the planet with another human is incredible. And I think that if the soul could remind you over and over and over again, it would remind you of that, and that you're not who you think you are. You're not the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors.
Is there a positive message or message of hope you'd like to leave us with?
I think that as humanity continues to move through this evolution and consciousness, which is what we're doing, we're awakening, we're waking up. The more compassion that we can have for ourselves, the more compassion we can have for other people, the more empathy that we can have for ourselves and empathy that we can have for others, and the more kindness that we can have for ourselves and other people is what is going to help us navigate what we're going through right now, because it's rocky and we're all on the same roller coaster. We're all doing the best we can. We all have trauma in us, right? We're all on the same battlefield. And so, where's the compassion? Where's our compassion? Where's our kindness? Where's our empathy? Right? And remembering that this life, it happens so quickly. It's gone in a blink. Right? So, how are you impacting others? What's the ripple effect that you're having on other people's lives daily? That's what matters.